What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episodes 21 and 22, Absolution and Ascension. The 2-hour season finale. I wasn't ready for this. I was not ready for this at all. Yeah, this is coming off the back of a very emotional NCIS season finale. And so going into this, I'm just like, I'm not emotionally ready for this right now. And the entire episode, I'm dying. I'm literally just dying inside. So anyway, I'm going to start off with the first half of the 2-hour. Ultimately, what seems like everything going right just before everything falls apart. So, typical Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I would say. It feels like that's how everything works, you know. For a second, everything seems like, hey, it might be going right. And then all of a sudden, boom, done, things fall apart. Except for Season 2, which was just, for the first half of the season, it felt like nothing was going right. And then things got better. Anyway, so, we have Daisy locked up, and she's suffering from withdrawals from Hive, which is actually really well done in my opinion. Just how they show it is very well done. You've got her sort of wanting to help the team, but she's beating herself up constantly about this. And Jim is the only one visiting her. Then you've got the team, which in this case is Mac, May, Lincoln, and Yo-Yo, Elena. And they are sort of working together to stop Hive. Their plan actually works out perfectly. They manage to get into the base, infiltrate it, get Hive messed up in the head, manage to capture him, and then take him on the Quinjet, take him back, and it all works out. And you're just like, oh, okay, it works. And you know, everybody's congratulating each other. General Talbot's like, I had my doubts, Coulson, but gosh darn it, you finished it. You got it right. Good job. You know, and you're just like, when are things going to go wrong? Because I feel it coming. I know it's going to come. We're not even close to the, you know, we're just getting to the half hour, or the hour mark. So, what's about to go wrong? I'm waiting for it. I'm just slowly waiting. Sure enough, we have a package marked Absolution, Michigan, I think. And it releases the gas, which turns some of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents into the primitive Inhumans. And they start attacking the base. They release Hive from his shell. And that's pretty much where the first half of the episode leaves off, with just things going wrong. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, the first hour actually ended with, you've got everybody sort of in their places. You've got Coulson, Mac, Yo-Yo, Lincoln, and the scientist all together. You've got Gemma hiding in a corner. You've got Daisy inside of the Zephyr containment pod thing, and it's flying away. You know, Hive's flying it away to the atmosphere. And you're just like, where's Maine? Fitz. Probably inside the Zephyr. That was my first thought whenever I thought, where are they? They're probably inside the ship. And so we go to the second half, which was Ascension. Of course, talking about the Zephyr ascending. And I really like how they handled this part of the episode, because you've got Daisy sort of dealing with herself again. But it's a much better way in this episode, or in this half of the episode. Because in the first one, we kind of have a little bit of a resolution, we think, when Matt comes in and says, we've got Hive. She's, you know, just like, you need to get away. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve your forgiveness. I didn't ask for your forgiveness. And he's just like, no, you know, I forgive you, you know. And he's trying to hug her. And she's like pushing away. And then finally gives in and just accepts it. And just like, I don't deserve this. And she's bawling. And I'm tearing up too. I'm like, yes, you do. You weren't yourself. And it was sad. And so, after all of that, Hive gets released. She sees that he's out there. And like I said, she's going through a withdrawal, and her desire for that is so much. She opens up her containment pod, gets inside and up into the Zephyr with him, and is begging, literally on her knees, begging to take her back. I'm just like, that is such a powerful representation of what those types of, those really dangerous drugs that you can get hooked on. It's really a sign of what can happen to you. I mean, I'm sure they weren't saying anything like, oh, kids, stay away from drugs, this is what can happen, but it's a really good representation. And being someone who lost somebody because of those drugs in my family, I can tell you that, yeah, it's hard to watch. Watching her get down on both of her knees and just beg to be accepted back into this evil guy's arms, it was hard for me to watch. And that's the type of stuff that, drug addicts do go through for the most part. So it was a really powerful scene. Then he can't take her back because of Lash's abilities. So they fight, have an epic fight, and she, stabs him several times and breaks all of his bones, and he just, rebuilds himself, whatever, knocks her out, takes her on the Quinjet. And so now she's inside of the Zephyr pod, and all of a sudden, out pop Mitz and Faye. I don't think I'm ever going to live that one down. Fitz and May pop out of the ventilation system of the Zephyr, try to open the thing up, and she's like, no, don't open it, I deserve to be in here. Still really suffering from the withdrawals, suffering from the depression of those withdrawals and all of the stuff that she's done. And as this scene is going on, I'm thinking to myself, wait, Fitz just took the lock, or the necklace. His jacket has a S.H.I.E.L.D. symbol on it. You gotta be kidding me! And I'm sitting there on Twitter, and I'm just like, guys, do you see the S.H.I.E.L.D. symbol on his jacket? I'm freaking out at this point. I'm just like, no, you can't kill Fitz. And the thing is, they set up so many of those little hint drops that you're just you're making it painful for me, because Fitz and Simmons are talking about getting away, going somewhere to be together. And I'm just like, you're trying to play with my mind, aren't you? Because Simmons makes the joke about, it's not going to kill us to go vacation. I'm just like, stop it! That is the one thing that I will say was most frustrating. The only thing, really, that was frustrating about this episode was that all of the hype and all of the build-up to this was who's going to die. So we knew somebody was going to die, and because they knew we knew that, and they made such a point of, who's it going to be? Who's going to die? It's just like they wanted to toy with our emotions, and they did it effectively. And while I appreciate the fact that they managed to make it more intense, and they managed to really work my emotions like that and get me invested in the show more than I'm just an audience member, I'm actually involved, I don't appreciate the fact that they did it so much that you're just clearly throwing in these lines not to do with anything in the show, not to do with anything, it ended up not being Fitz or Simmons. So all that line now is a throwaway, but at the time, whenever you don't know who it is, it's such a gut-wrenching feel. Are you trying to say that one of them is going to die? Stop that now. So I will say that is the one frustrating thing about this, is the whole time I'm kind of distracted by who's going to die. So I wish they hadn't made that such a big deal going through all of this. And especially because we've seen that scene so much with the necklace floating and the S.H.I.E.L.D. patch right there, that I see the S.H.I.E.L.D. patch on Fitz's jacket, and I'm just like, no, nope. I'm going to die if he dies. Fitz is me. No, you can't kill Fitz. And then they do some stuff. Mr. Guiara? Can't remember his name. The guy that can control guns and stuff with his mind. He shows up, knocks May out, is about to kill Fitz, and I'm just like, he's not going to do it. If Fitz is going to die, it's going to be in the Quinjet. And then Fitz... My God. Fitz is probably easily my favorite character out of all of them. Aside from Daisy, because I have a huge crush on Daisy. I can't help that. But, when I'm thinking about the character that I want to be Fitz. He has so many moments like this where you think he's beaten, you think that he's done. And you're just like, Fitz, don't give in. And he's talking about, I've got a weapon hidden on the ship. If you kill me, you won't be able to see it. He puts down this one thing, and all of a sudden kills Mr. Gayero with a freaking invisible gun, a cloaked gun. I'm like, are you kidding me, Fitz? You're a freaking genius. Ugh, Fitz is awesome. So, I can't help it. Fitz is amazing. So after all that, they get Daisy out. He and Daisy carry May to the infirmary, and then they realize it's cold. He puts the jacket on Daisy, and now I'm just like, it's gonna be Daisy. Are you freaking kidding me? I knew they were gonna do stuff like this. I knew they were gonna do stuff like, ooh, it's Fitz now. Oh, now Daisy's got the jacket and the necklace, and she pulls it out, and she remembers the vision, and she's just like, I know what's gonna happen. And it's almost like she accepts the fact that it's gonna be her. You could see the look on her face. She has accepted the fact that she's gonna be the one on the Quinjet dying. Just like, no, don't accept that. No, you can't do this to me. But then, wouldn't you know it, we have such an awesome scene after the team has escaped from the base due to some quick thinking from Simmons, turning up the heat, making it to where the primitive Inhumans can't see them. Coulson gets a Quinjet, takes it onto the Zephyr. You think he's come alone, but I'm thinking in the back of my mind, nah, he's not coming alone. But the scene with him and Hive, where Hive is talking about taking over his body and taking on his team, taking everybody out, that scene was brilliant. Marvel, if you've seen Civil War, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They have such the perfect mix of humor and just serious moments at the right times. It's never at a moment where you're just like, we're kind of in the middle of an intense situation. Could you maybe calm down the humor a little bit? Like, that scene, yeah, it was a bit intense, but it wasn't like they made a joke at the very end of the episode whenever the Quinjet's flying away. It wasn't like anybody made a joke then. They were very serious. It was very emotional. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I just love the fact that they managed to throw in these little jokes here and there. With the scientist, with Coulson making the Leia reference. You're my only hope, Obi-Wan. I was like, are you kidding me? That's I died laughing and then went back to being nervous. Really, really nervous. So yeah, we have all of these moments, just brilliant moments. And then the team gets onto the ship. They're all wearing jackets with the S.H.I.E.L.D. symbol. I'm like, are you... Now I'm really confused. Who's it gonna be? And then Lincoln has a fight with, whatever that guy's name was, the one that could touch stuff and make it explode. I can't remember what his name is now, but he has a fight with him, and he touches something on his belt. And before he can get it off, it explodes and like kind of rips a hole. Not a big one, but enough to cause some serious damage right here on his side. And then they start, like, Daisy's talking to him as they're fighting all of these the rest of the team's fighting all of these primitive Inhumans. And they have this conversation, and basically Lincoln realizes, wait, that vision you had, this is what you were talking about. And she's just like, yeah. And he's like, no, you can't do this. You can't go on the ship. You can't sacrifice yourself for us. And then he, like, grabs her. And the way he grabbed her, I'm like, oh my gosh. He just grabbed the necklace off of her neck. It's Lincoln. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's Lincoln? No. He just arrived. You can't... And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, holy crap. This is crazy. The way they end it is just... I can't find any other word to describe it other than magnificently painful. It was such a well done ending. Just Daisy getting onto the ship, Hive coming onto the ship starting to rise, and Hive like, wait, I thought I shut it down. And Lincoln's like, I'm the only one who could short circuit it. Blast Daisy off the ship as it flies away. I'm just like, what is going on? Daisy then getting hold of the radio, talking to Lincoln, talking through everything. Let me just pick out my top 3 moments from that final scene, because there's so much I could talk about. I'm just going to say the entire ending was amazing, but really hard to watch. Those are my thoughts overall. Now here are my top 3 moments, because these are just moments that when they happened, I found my eyes just start dripping. I couldn't help it at these few moments. One, this is my third out of all of them. The emotional music at the end. The music in the show has been very good for the most part. You know, there have been a few that I'm just like, that's a weird choice. But for the most part, I mean, the music works. Marvel's music normally does work. This one is like the S.H.I.E.L.D. music that you hear. Dun, 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 dun. But it was slower. It was more string, like violins. And it was just so, you could feel the emotion in the music as everybody's sitting there. Simmons has tears dripping out of her eyes. Fitz just looks completely helpless. Mac just has a look of despair on his face. And Daisy's just bawling. And the thing about it is, earlier in this episode, or in the first episode, Lincoln was saying, you know, after this, I think I'm done with S.H.I.E.L.D. And I thought, at the time, okay, so something's going to happen and he's going to decide to stay for Daisy or something like that. You know, he's going to find some reason to stay. Whenever this scene happened, and it was him up in the Quinjet, and they pull back and show that what we've seen so much, and they really focused in on the S.H.I.E.L.D. symbol, it hit me. And then they started playing the music. I'm like, he's dying an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's dying what he thought he didn't want to become. In the end, he decided that's who he was. He was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he died an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's when it really got me. I'm just like, dang, wow. And that was actually the third out of all of the three that I have. That was the last one. So I was already cried out at that point. Second one was a little bit more just personal for me, I guess, because of my crush on Daisy. So just the scene where she's talking to Lincoln, and it just sort of ended up as a throwaway line at first before they realized what was said. And he's just like, you know, she said, this isn't right what you're doing. And he's just like, saving the girl I love while saving the world? That feels really right to me. And then at the end, they said, like, I can't remember, I think it was Daisy said, there's so much I wanted to tell you. And he's just like, so did I. Well, now that I think about it, I'm like, holy crap, he did just say that he loved her. What? And then clever scriptwriters have him go, this is the first time I told you and then cuts off the radio. I'm just like, dang it. And then waterworks. I'm just like, this sucks. And then the first and most emotional moment for me out of all of this, the Quinjet's up there. Daisy's already crying. She's already like, we have to stop this. We have to try. We have to get him. I can't let him pay for my mistakes. And Coulson just has this solemn look and says, he's paying for all of our mistakes. And that just, I don't know why that got to me more than all of it, but it's just the weight of it all just really, it meant so much to me. Just to think about, they were talking earlier in the episode about how Hive is the devil. You know, like Daisy was making the reference that he's the closest thing they have to the devil. You know, if the devil were to exist, this would be a very close second, you know, that type of thing. And this is you know, Marvel is obviously not really a religious thing, but they did have a very religious moment in one of the earlier episodes in the first season where Daisy was talking about, you know, it was like a moment of this woman thought that God was punishing her, and she made a comment about how she grew up with a bunch of nuns, and I was just like, I don't think that God is a God of hate. You know, I don't think he's somebody that would punish us. I think he's if he were to be a God, I would think he was a God full of love. Something along those lines. I can't really remember exactly what the line was. So it has had some religious undertones thrown in there. And the whole devil reference in this one is obviously a bit more directly religious. But the thought of this, when you really think about it, and obviously if you don't have a belief, then this won't mean anything to you. But for those of you who do believe that there is a God and that he did send his son to die for us, this thought of one man giving up his life to pay for the mistakes of the team, you know, pay for Daisy's mistakes of what she did for Hive, to pay for Coulson's mistake of what he did to bring Hive into existence. all of the things that they did, I'm pretty sure there were probably some other mistakes. Mac, probably some stuff he could have done differently. Same for Fitzsimmons. It really, really gets to you. And to think that Lincoln's the one. He's the one that ends up being that sacrifice. It really, really got to me. And I just waterworks again. I don't know. Just the way they did this was really well done, really emotional. I'm all cried out. I'm not ashamed to admit it. This was a really, really good finale. So, on to the final moments, setting up for what a very promising season 4. Hopefully, we have it jumps ahead 6 months, which will be about the time 6 months from now will be when season 4 starts up. Daisy has now looked like she's gone rogue. She is now called Quake, and yeah, she ends up. It looks like she's robbing places, but doing it for a good cause. She was giving money to the one guy who was an Inhuman who could. He was the one that gave her the vision of the future. He ends up giving the money to that guy's wife and daughter. It took me a second too, because I'm just like, wait, she looks familiar. Oh yeah, that's Elle from Criminal Minds. Oh yeah, she was a character too on this. It took me a second, but she's giving them money. Coulson and Max show up to try to stop her. She goes around the corner, uses her Quake abilities, and leaps over a building. So, don't know what's going on there. Coulson said the director's not going to be happy, so is he not the director anymore? Is S.H.I.E.L.D. still around in 6 months? I'm assuming we're going to find out what's going to happen later and why Daisy's doing all of this, but it looks like she's gone rogue. She's her own vigilante type person now. And then we have a scene with the Doctor. It looks like he's become officially a good guy. He's working with the team now, working with Fitz and Simmons. And it looks like he's created some sort of robot, maybe? I'm sure the people who love the comics were able to get some of the references there at the end, because I don't. I haven't read the comics, so I don't really know a whole lot about this stuff. Most of it, even the Inhuman part, I had to look all of that up to see what it was whenever they first announced that these are Inhumans. So I don't know what that is, but it looks like it's setting up for a very promising season 4, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go from here. Even though I'm still very emotional about what happened tonight, it gets me excited for season 4 to see what's going to happen. Why is Daisy gone rogue? Why did she dye her hair black? Because, I don't know, I think I prefer her brunette. She's still extremely beautiful, but I don't know. It's kind of like whenever those, like the hacker girls on some of the other shows, like Felicity on Arrow, Penelope on Criminal Minds. For some reason, whenever they go bad, they dye their hair dark and look really goth. Anyway, now I'm getting off topic. So yeah, overall, very good finale. Final thoughts on the season as a whole. It's a very good season. I don't know if I've said this before. If you go back, I've actually done reviews on the first 2 seasons. The first half of the first season was kind of slow. It had a few good moments, a few good episodes, but it's generally very slow at the start. Then it picks up halfway through. You get the tie-in with Captain America Winter Soldier, and that's when things really get going. Season 2 kicks off with a bang. You have the versus Hydra, and then you got the introduction of the Inhumans. You got them going up against Daisy's mom and everybody at Afterlife. And then it was like, where do they go from here? Then this whole introduction of Hive, all of this stuff happened in the first half of the season, and then we finally actually get to see Hive, and the entire second half of the season was them working to finish off Hydra for good, and then finding out about Hive about halfway through this half of the season, and it was all about stopping it. Daisy getting turned was a huge twist. It was something that the team had to deal with emotionally. It was something that fractured them. Overall, it's been a very emotional season, and in my opinion, if you watch from season 1 and really just watch all the way through, it just gets better and better. The more emotional connections you can form with this team, with the characters they have, the better this show gets for you, because you want to see what's happening with them. You actually care about this team. The twists and turns, the betrayals, all of it really affects you because this team is such a good team. The characters they've got are really good. And this season just got so much better as it went on. It's like, season, pretty much season 1, halfway through season 1, the end of season 1, season 2, season 2 end, season 3, and it's still going up. And I love what they're doing with it. I love the tie-ins to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All of the movies tie together with the show. It's great. It's a great show. Still easily my number 1 favorite show. A lot of people are going to say I'm stupid for saying that, but I don't care. It's an amazing show, and I can't think of any shows that do it better. So those are my thoughts on this finale and this entire season as a whole. Let me know what you thought down below. What do you think they're going to do for the future? If you do know what the scientist was working on, his little project, try to keep spoilers out of it. If there's anything you know for certain that they're doing, try to keep some spoilers out of it. But if you have a hunch of what that is and what you think they're going to do with that, talk to me about it. We can discuss it. And I don't know. I like to figure out some things, but not too much. And as always, just let me know what you thought of it overall. We can discuss it. Leave a like and subscribe for future Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and check out my other videos. If you have time, you happen to watch other shows that I do. I will see you guys at the next season. Peace out.